Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope. We turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations? Well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success? It's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
Hey, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night. Yes. Hey, I am Mike Asher-Branner, the proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community, and you are tuning in to Mike King Biz Radio, 106.1 FM, ESPN RVA. So excited for this guest, a good friend of mine, and she has been working day and night this year to build something special that will benefit so many people, guys. I am so excited to bring her up today. So instead of rambling on and on, let's get it started. Let's get going. And hey, this is what the Hounds is all about. We have launched the next level of the HOB. Wow. Heart-centered, high-level professionals. If you're trying to grow, get trusted introductions, work with people to open up doors and collaborations, none of that hunting stuff. It's okay if you're a good hunter, but I'm not. All right, I like to farm. I like to invest in people, push them up, and have them do the same for me. We're going next level. Now we have systems and tools that were built for us. All right. Different, not the horse before the cart here, guys. Next level's happening. Don't be left behind. Go check out our YouTube channel for more details. Hounds of Business, also on LinkedIn. You can find me, Mike Asher-Branner, or ASH, the only guy with a camo head on LinkedIn, I think. And or you can just connect with somebody else, or you can go Mike King on his radio or his LinkedIn. Also, you can find us, guys. So let's bring her up. Without further ado, the one and only Noni Virani. For the first time in my life, I said that almost right. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. Mike, Mr. Hounds of Business. I'm not going to say founder of Hounds of Business. I'm going to say Mr. Hounds of Business. So glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I will try my best not to blush because I'm so excited. So there you have it.
I'm going to try hard, extra hard to make you blush, young lady. You have inspired me, and that's not easy to do. I see it all. But you have been heads down, you disappeared for a long time, and then when you resurfaced by friends of mine, right, which is the way we do it in the Hounds. You don't talk about you. You go out there and bring great value and love on people. And guess what? They talk good about you, right? You can advertise yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you cannot manufacture hundreds of super pros running around talking about how great what you're doing is and how good of a person. And that's why you're here, because I had friends of mine that I trust, and they said, "Hey, Noni is doing some great stuff." And I'm like, man, my nosy self had to know. I'm like, hey, what is she doing? And you know what? Glad we did it. So let's start off with letting the folks know who you are, because we love to do business with folks we connect with and we get to know. And before we do that, speaking of folks, folks on the radio, hey, you on the radio, thank you for tuning in. So happy you joined us. And those of you, hey, Royce, he has made it in. This guy's always here. He's Mr. Radio Voice. All right. And Phil Davis also been heads down this year. So glad to see him come out and rocket this next wave of the Hounds. We got good Homer. Lewis Stickley is here, and Lisa Frederick. I talk about her more than she knows. Yep, you got to message me to find out why, Lisa. It's all good stuff. And Jackie Olmstead is here. Wow, so they're pouring in, Hounds and friends of the Hounds. So let's tell them who is Noni, and you DEI. That's how I known you. You are a big proponent of diversity, inclusion, equity, all these great things. Where did that come from? Because you lived almost everywhere, right? Like, you've been everywhere as a kid and an adult. So tell us where you've been. Where's Waldo style? Where's Noni?
Okay. So I just want to clarify, Mike. Not my whole world does not revolve specifically around DEIB. It's mostly because of who I am, and I genuinely give uh, CRAP about people, regardless of who they are, where they're from, and what abilities they have. I just don't care. I will support whoever it is who needs support. But as far as where I come from, I actually was born and kind of sort of raised in the United Arab Emirates. And that country itself is 80% immigrants. So if you look at the United States, a melting pot, it's almost the same, but with a little bit of a different variety of population over there. And my parents are also mixed with so many different things. And so that take those two things, and then we decided to move randomly to the United States, specifically in Georgia. Now, if you look at a place like United Arab Emirates, about what it stands for, what kind of diversity it has, what kind of people it has, and the openness, and all of a sudden you throw a person like that in a place like Georgia, specifically Newnan, Georgia, which is the countryest of the country, and then from there move to Birmingham, Alabama, of all places.
Wow.
That's where I lived for 8 years. So
That's like throwing a kid into the pool to teach him how to swim, right? It's like, hey, boom, just you woke up in a different world. Go figure it out. Right? Just keep going.
exactly, exactly. And the thing is, when I moved to the South, it was a very eye-opening experience for me. And one of the things was that my identity is Asian, and United Arab Emirates is in Asia. And I feel like a lot of people in the United States don't understand that. So when I say that I'm Asian, no one believes me. And that came into par when I was actually in college at Auburn University. I came across a few people and they asked me where I was from. And I told them I'm from United Arab Emirates. However, my one of my parents is actually Pakistani. And they asked me if Pakistani meant that I was from the capital of Puerto Rico. And that made no sense to me at all. And that kind of activated a signal of me wanting other people around me to get educated, but also more knowledgeable about what's happening. And then after that, after graduation, I decided to pack my bags and go to San Francisco, or just move to San Francisco to get my master's degree, in addition to getting a little bit more diversified population where people can be who they are. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, so you took all that, things that might have shut you down and put you, hiding and all that stuff. You just went out and explored it and said, "Hey, how can I help, you know,
Mhm.
unite people, right? Myself and then others." So you're big in storytelling. Before we spill the beans on OZK and how you created that, this storytelling is really dear to your heart, right? This kind of bridging people through stories and different inclusionary, events. So what experiences really early on led you to do this today?
The thing, Mike, is that I'm naturally an artist. And even though I may not be a literary artist, I still know how to tell stories. And usually, for me, being an intuitive person, those stories come within my dreams. And then I make substance out of it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be storytelling within essays or within works of art or anything like that. It could be poems. It could be like two or three sentence stanzas or sonnets or whatever have you. So that's how I started. I um, I think what I remember is my first story, quote unquote story that I wrote, was about a scorpion biting someone who went way too arrogant for themselves. And the whole idea of that was karma is a bitch. And
Right.
that was a dark humor based story, and that kind of told me a little bit about myself. So whenever I do have something to write or something that pops up in my head, I write it down, and that's where a story comes in. And I did not amplify that or elevate it till I moved to San Francisco and actually went to school for storytelling, where they taught me the act one, act two, act three, the enticing incident, and then the end, the conclusion. I got a little bit more exposure to it, is what I could say. Otherwise, I
Yeah,
could just ramble on about whatever.
it's almost a lost art nowadays. I mean, all the media and all the tools we have are to communicate, and for thousands and thousands of years, up until recently, 1500s, that's how we communicated. People would go town to town and tell these stories of adventures and cultures and all this stuff. And we kind of lost that. We have the communication, but the art of story, man, it's everything. I mean, it's wild. And going back real quick, guys, I want you to know. So all the places you grew up, potato, because I want y'all to know how deep South she is. All right. So how do you say, because the deeper South you go in the United States, the worse the word potato gets. So potato or potato. All right. Do you say taters? People around you say taters, don't they? Don't lie. It's okay. We're a safe space. This goes out in
I'm
Virginia.
just to let you know, and everyone else, I'm so
She's
glad
not playing.
I did not pick up on the southern accent, but I do know that there's potato, tomato. I mean, I'm not saying it properly, but that's how it
Okay,
is.
you're not going to answer the question. I got you. You're going to be difficult. It, it's it's taters. So if somebody around my neck of the woods says taters, I'm like, wow, they came straight up from the southern Alabama area. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying, even in you lump us all the country people together, but there's still a lot of nuance there. So we're just having fun. But yeah, it's cultured. Like I'm the only redneck I know of that can listen to house music, right? Like it's so because I've been around like you have. And I love that. I love having that diversity of people. So let's get into it real quick. You know, tell us a little bit about what OZK Studios, the mission behind it, or the why. Why did this come up? Because it took me by surprise. I said, "What are you doing?" So, what is OZK Studios' mission and vision?
Absolutely. So OZK actually just from the get-go, it's it stands for openness, kindness. Excuse me, openness, zeal, and kindness. And for me, I believe kindness is like the number one thing that we should all have to survive in this world. Right now, there's a lot of competition, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of different negative emotions going on. Let's just say pessimism, okay?
Yep.
So I don't want to think about pessimism, I want to think about optimism. And that's where the whole concept of OZK came in. Now, as far as our mission statement and vision, I don't want to basically break them apart. I want to combine them together. So, our even though okay, so the mission for OZK Studios is to amplify marginalized voices. However, the way we do it is not because we want to specifically focus on trendy topics like BIPOC individuals. Of course, we want to focus on BIPOC individuals, but we also want to focus on non BIPOC individuals as well, whether they're in the United States or outside of the United States, doesn't matter. And as somebody who grew up outside of the United States quite a bit, I often realize that there's so many stereotypes that are going on within different communities that I want to shed some light into making sure that those voices are also heard. So you could say
Right.
that the mission or the vision specifically focus on unheard and postponed voices. And one example, Mike, that I can give you is just last week on Thanksgiving Day, we released an episode on Under Global Food Network, which is one of our branches. We released an episode that focuses on celebration of Thanksgiving within the prison system. And that was a very unique episode. And just to make sure that, hey, even though people are in prison, doesn't mean that they're any less of human beings than we are. So, how do they go about family time and how do they go about their meals? So, yeah.
No, and it's intriguing. It's interesting, intriguing. You learn a lot. You're doing good by it. You're right, because they're still people. Some of them are in there don't belong in there. Our justice system has issues, right? So, or they learn their lesson. It happens. So I'm so glad. Let's dive into that right after I give a big shout out to Mike King Biz Radio, all the great folks listening right now. You guys are amazing. Thank you for tuning in. I am Mike Asherbrander, if you don't know already, from the Hounds of Business community, full of heart-centered, high-level professionals, just like Noni. And guys, if you're listening on the radio, hey, go to ozkstudios.com. ozkstudios.com. Right? It's being updated. There's more there, but don't miss out on this month. Right? This is a lot of great things. We're going to dive into it. And hey, Mike King, love our partnership. You're all about pushing people up, and dadgummit, so are we. So thank you for that. And hey, no strays out there. All right, Vanessa, I see you. Vanessa Vargas, brand new hound, wonderful lady, helps people caretake. I mean, we attract the most brilliant people. I'm telling you, most heart centered, high levels. So go to our YouTube, go to our LinkedIn, uh, plug in. That's all. Hey, test drive us. If we're not for you, hey, no problem. I'll walk you somewhere that is. So that's how I found Noni, just being in the right place at the right time and finding somebody. I heard her audios. I was introduced. I said, wow, this is somebody I want to get to know, right? This share my value system. So speaking of that, Noni, let's get back into it because I want to talk about a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, right? Because you were mostly in corporate and done other things. So share a little bit. Let me jump right into it. What was the most surprising lesson that you learned from transitioning to the artist and the corporate stuff to a media entrepreneur? Right. What was some of the unexpected? Oh my goodness, because I know there is. It's a hard business.
You're right. It is a hard business, and there's several factors to it too. You have to consider the person who's founding this media company as someone like me who's very introverted. I'm shy, and I know that our friend Lisa Favec, who knows me so well, she'll probably disagree with me, but I can tell you that I am an extremely, extremely shy and introverted person. So I think
Yeah.
that is one of the main things that you have to kind of fight through to make sure that you're being heard. And the second thing is, you want to learn about different people. You want to set this platform where people can come to educate themselves, whether it's a topic about food or a topic about art, whatever it may be. You want to be able to provide that platform. And without resources, you cannot provide that platform to anybody. So I think my
Right.
challenge at the moment is lack of resources and also lack of funding that I could get talented people in my team to make this amazing vision come to life. So that's what I'm struggling with right now. And that is something that I think I could use support in, but I'm resilient. I'm patient. Things happen for a reason. I'm in no rush to be like I have to be an expert right now, but also at the same time, another obstacle is that a lot of people do not take women entrepreneurs seriously, especially in the media platform.
I'm going to
And
get to that because, yeah, no, let me pause you there because two things you said. You're shy, but you're doing it anyway. Right? You're a little shy, but you wouldn't notice that. Like, Lisa, really? You're shy? And that's what we talk about, courage before confidence, right? Like, I didn't have the courage to put on this camera. I didn't have the confidence. I just had courage. And that's what it takes. So anybody out there say, oh, I don't know if I could do this, or, I'm not cut out, or I don't have X, Y, and Z. Yeah, look who you're talking to right now. A guy in a camo hat, a lady who started a business that, based on passion, and it's working. And number two, that is why we exist. That's why you're here, Noni, because you have a great value. You're doing great things, but more people have to see that. And people lack the result, the support, right? They lack the resources. And that's why partnerships like this work so well. Hound's pushing up OZK. And what does OZK do? Same thing, right? Hey, there's good things. And I love it. So let me dive into that because what kind of challenges have you seen, you know, encounter as a woman-led business? Because correct me if I'm wrong, it's all women who came together to support this mission and figure it out. And how did you overcome those challenges?
absolutely. So you're right. My OZK Studios is all women owned and women led. I wanted to give a space to diverse types of women to come aboard. As an example, we have the women who I work with in my team. They're all of different ethnic backgrounds, all different types of age ranges, all ethnicities. Like I said earlier, they're all different ages, they're all different identities. I'm not going to discount that. So, regardless of whatever it is, they all represent something or the other. And that's why I think amplifying voices comes to hand because if somebody is being unheard, then how in the world am I going to amplify that voice if we're missing something? So that
Oh,
is one aspect of that. The other aspect, as far as, like I mentioned, I'm looking for funding and things like that. There's a stereotype that women, regardless of what work they're doing, they will often be into volunteer work. And I think that male entrepreneurs are taking a little bit more seriously because I may have the best vision and mission in the world, but I have to prove myself 10,000 times more to get that $1 versus a male entrepreneur whose mission may not be all that amazing, but he would still get the $1 without even trying that hard. So I think that's where my biggest challenge is at the moment is not really. I will do whatever I can to make sure that my team is being treated fairly, which I think I'm doing right now. And if I get funding or donations, then I can easily take care of my colleagues or my team members. It may not be that much money, but at the same time, they know that they're valued. So that's, I think,
Right.
my biggest challenge right now as a
Well,
woman.
absolutely. I say this all the time. I say, look, if you have a Picasso painting in a cave with the lights off, is it valuable? Well, sure. But who knows that? Who can enjoy it? Who can experience it? And that's what this is about. And here's the fun thing. Folks out there who want to get involved, learn more, go to ozkstudios.com. Learn more. They're updating it. But if you want to be involved, learn more, support, and that's monetary, that's showing up, it's whatever. Get the info. Right? So many opportunities are missed because we don't check stuff out and do our research, right? We say yes and no based on assumptions. So go out there and check it, right? That's what I did. I said, hey, what's going on here? And you know what? It's the who. That's more important than anything. I saw who was involved. I said, okay, that you got my attention because I like people who just say, hey, because I started the Hounds on accident, right? Like I started, hey, all passion and no clue is how I put it. And some of the best things come out of those. So it's kind of like seeing the team of Microsoft or anything out there in the early days. This is I love the intrigue of seeing people who are just like, I hope we make it, and then they will. I know they will. I know y'all are because y'all are. You have the right character, you have the right heart, and you're putting spotlight on so many things. So before we leave, you have this month right now. You guys have a campaign about food, but not just about food. Explain that to us. All right? What can people expect to tap into some of the shows and all these things that you've got going on? Because people want to tap into.
Absolutely, Mike, and thank you for asking. So, this month we're releasing 4 additional episodes after the initial 3 episodes that we released this past month, and it's going to be under our first branch that we just launched last month, which is called Global Food Network, as you can see. So, the 4 episodes that we're releasing is about different types of topics. The way we're trying to release is relating to the average person out there because we are average people. We are the ordinary man. We're not some billionaire out there who has all the money in the world, but we are surviving with what we get. So I have a very special guest who's going to talk about holiday food budgeting or holiday budgeting in general. So please do check it out. It will be released on December 12th. And we're going to do a double whammy LinkedIn powerhouse because the other person who's going to be whose episode I'm releasing on the same exact day, drumroll please, is none other than Ms. Lisa Favec herself, who's
Oh,
going to be
sweet.
talking. Yep, she's going to be talking about holiday foods from Trinidad and Tobago, the history of those foods, why they exist, and the specific names that they're being called. So I'm going to do a very special launch in December on December 12th, which is a Thursday. So please check us out at OZK Studios LinkedIn page where we're going to blast it out. And we will do our best to blast the same thing on our main website as well. I'm just trying to look for more resources to support our chief geek officer right now in that platform. So, but yeah, that is going to be the main kickoff for December. And then after that, we're talking about foods from Zimbabwe, not Hollywood, holiday foods from Zimbabwe,
Love it.
and we're going to talk about how holiday foods from the northern areas of Pakistan that nobody has ever heard of before. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're trying to amplify unheard voices. And I think starting with food is the first most important thing. And then we can continue amplifying voices after.
Oh my goodness. And we talked about this a while, but I thought it was very intriguing. So there's lots of families who have marriage, right? Marriage or even adoption or whatever reason. And there's different cultures. So it gets real interesting around Christmas or New Year or holiday and things. It's like, well, what do we fix? Right? And my family's that way. My aunt is from South Korea, right? So we have a lot of diversity in our family from extended marriages. So this is really interesting, right? Everything from talking about, people in prison, to how do you celebrate those? So do you have a story about that? Because I remember you telling me one time, like just the neatness of it all, like how this helps people.
So, Mike, I had mentioned several times to several people that I think about people who aren't really thought about on a general basis.
Right.
Now, I've been wanting to learn more about the prison system for a very long time. So I've been going to different audio rooms and things like that. But what actually did it for me, I'm not going to use the phrase for that, but what actually did it for me was I started a new job this past January, and it focuses on providing employment and housing opportunities for the unhoused individuals and basically support them in getting back on their feet. Turns out that a lot of those vulnerable populations are formerly incarcerated individuals. And this was my amazing thing that I wanted to explore for real. So that's where I can amplify that voice and satisfy my eagerness to learn about different people who are not like me.
Yeah, I love it. And see, that's what I mean. I never set out in the hounds. I never said I need people from diverse backgrounds. What we do, or what I see you doing as well, is hey, who's got great character, who's aligned, and who has value? And they just so happen to be from diverse backgrounds, right? And I love that because you'll get it, you'll pick it up, and you do great things together. So, in the last question here, where do you see OZK Studios in the next 5 years, or 3 or 10 or whatever? What is your, hey, this is what we're aspiring to. This is what it looks like. What is that?
So I want to be I mean, this is a little too much, but for now, but I want to be a global phenomenon and make an impact globally. Uh, I know this is a little too broad of a mission, but I think with determination, I can do it. I have some great people in my team right now. And like I said, the more collaborative resources that I get, whether it's through internships or through volunteer work, who want to support the mission, who want to add value to it, then if those people come to light, then I can easily make it happen in no time with the branches that I have that all focus on humanity and connection with people, especially with those who you don't even know. So that's the goal.
Absolutely. Now, and I listen, I believe in it. The hounds supporting this, the hounds are pushing this up and bringing the visibility because we love good original stuff from good-hearted people. Period. Right. And so, and speaking of that, Michelle Ramos is here. So thank you, Michelle, for joining. My friend Sindel. Like I said, so many people, and we want to see this thing succeed, and I believe it will, or we wouldn't be behind it. So everybody, go out there. If you're watching live, you're on the radio, driving around, go to ozkstudios.com, plug in, and learn a lot. Be inspired. Sometimes I watch garbage TV, but really on Christmas, I don't know, it's weird. I like to watch good stuff. I like to broaden my horizons, right? So everybody go check out OZK Studios. Sadly enough, we have to go. Any last thing? Because I see you look like you want to say something.
Yes, I was just gonna say our websites are still work in progress, so please do not judge us by that. We are working whenever we can on on updating our website, but our email addresses are there. So if there's any questions or any way that you do want to support us, whether it's by donations or whether it's by volunteering or whether it's by collaborating, please email, and then we'd be more than happy to connect with you and start the process. That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And they'll be glad they did because this is going to go boom. All right. And so I'm honored. The Hounds is excited. Thank you for that. And thank you for coming today. This is going to be a great way to celebrate diversity and good things and learn and connecting with other people, getting to know folks. You never know. It could move the needle. So all the folks in the Hounds, friends of the Hounds, thank you for showing up. Michelle said, Noni is the brain and I'm the pinky. We're taking over the world. Pinky and the brain. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I know that. All right. So everybody have a great time. We will keep you posted. Check out the Hounds of Business YouTube, and we will be sharing OZK Studios there, guys. So have a great day. Mike King, you're the man. All right. Our partnership, love pushing people up, my friend. Thank you for the opportunity. Everybody have a great time. Enjoy your holidays. We'll see you next week. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.